All right, guys, I got one thing. I could give a couple of reviews, but I know we're running a little long. I'm going to have my annual discussion on streaming or cable. And you guys know I reached out to you. Well, just bear me out.
No, I am.
I was going to pull the
I didn't
plug.
mean to take the wind out of your sails. I was more sort of a snicker. I know where this is going.
Well, I never know where you're going, Jared. I wanted to bring it up because I reached out to you guys about streaming. I was going to cut the cable, and I put the phone call in. I usually do annually, and I was just knocked backwards on the deal they gave me. I couldn't believe it. They don't want to lose me as a customer. I complained about my price. They knocked off $18 off my monthly bill. Yay, that's great. And I got added Disney Plus, Hulu with ads, ESPN Plus, Peacock, Max, and AMC Plus. Keep in mind, my bill went down $18. I got all that stuff. Plus, I got a Zumu streaming box to watch, and there's like 350 channels I can get on that with the iCloud recording capability. So tell me if I'm crazy. I got a great deal.
No, because you got
Jack Sparrow. Oh,
right.
You just plundered a ship, man, in your world. That's what that was.
Because you got $18 knocked off, like you said, but then also because you were probably paying for Max, you were probably paying for Disney Plus, so you could cancel your other subscription to those.
100%.
So I mean, you're actually saving more than just $18 a month.
Yes.
What's the catch? I guess my guess would be like, what's the catch here?
What's that?
What's the catch?
There is no catch. There's no catch. I'm not kidding you. Oh, I'll tell you the one catch. It took me 3 phone calls to get it straightened out, because the original phone call, they said, we're going to give you all this, $18 off. And then they also said, well, we're going to give you the movie channel. Then when I saw my bill, there was a charge for it. So I had to call them and say, look, I didn't have the movie channel in the first place, so take it off. I'm not paying for it. I'm used to not having it. And then the other glitch was when I went through the very first call and made my deal, I'm coming downstairs to take an afternoon nap, but I saw the Tigers were playing on FanDuel. So I clicked channel 31 for FanDuel, and it was no longer there. They pulled it off.
They're counting on people like me, where I would just run into one of these bumps in the roads and be like, I don't even care.
I know.
I'll pay an extra $10 a month, and I'm done with it.
Yeah, so, I don't operate that way, Jared.
Yeah.
So that's my Tedertainment.
Yeah, well, because there's a lot of people that would. They see that movie channel added on, and they'd just be like, whatever, I'll keep the movie channel. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was going to say you've worked the system, but really it's not working the system. It's just you've been a loyal customer for such a long time. They want to keep you as a customer, and all you're doing is calling. And it's really, and it's also, it's not working the system because you're just being honest. Listen, my bill's getting too high.
Yes.
And I can go stream.
Right.
What can you do for me?
That was my exact first sentence, Matt.
Right.
Well, let me see if we can find a special plan, and they locked me into this for another year. So
that special plan, it's like when you go buy a car. It's like, listen, you can sell it to me for whatever price you want, really. Right. I mean,
well, let's face it too. I mean, once you cut the cable, you're not probably going back. And what do they got to lose? I mean, I'm already been there for a long time.
Yeah.
They'd be stupid to lose me.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose you. You're like Wreck-It Ralph. Your starter is like mega filled up with neutrons and everything. If they lost you, I think the whole company might crash. So, anything good you watched lately, or I mean, I'll give you
I wanted to keep it short. I can tell you about one show I watched. I don't know if you guys are aware of the movie The Brutalist. It was Academy Award nominated, and their star in that won the Academy Award as Best Actor. You don't want to watch that if you're not into drama, and pretty heavy movie, really, when you look at it. It was about a guy that a Jewish architect that made his way from the concentration camps to become a big time architect in America, but it was about all his trials and tribulations leading up to it. It was well done. Adrian Brody was the actor that won the Academy Award. Awesome. He was awesome. Yeah. But again, it's not one of those movies that's going to make you feel good, but it was well done. The Brutalist.
All right. I'll try to make it feel good real quick. This is more of a story than, but it ties into media. So Ed Sabel I'll just throw his name out there. Maybe you guys know who that is. Maybe you don't. My
Is that
question
from
to you before I read it-
NFL films or
Yep.
different?
Exactly. I was trying to sell you the
Sables.
sizzle, man, then the steak, but you gave away the steak right off the rip.
Sorry.
Steve Sable's dad? Steve Sable's
Yeah,
dad or
exactly.
son?
Yeah, the original.
So think of how this started. So back in his day, his son Steve was a high school quarterback in the 60s, basically. And he started filming his son's game with a camera he got as a wedding gift.
Hmm.
Finally he would have people over the 2 years that he was a varsity player. He'd edit it all together, add slow-mo, add all that stuff that when you think of NFL films today, that what makes it so special. So he founded this company. Basically, people were like, hey, you're actually pretty good at this. You should look into this. Founds this company. At this point, the NFL is basically nothing. He goes to the NFL for the Super Bowl. It wasn't even called the Super Bowl at that time. It's called a championship game in 1962. He says, I will give you guys $5,000 if you give me the rights to this game. Like, let me shoot it. NFL's like, you're literally running unopposed. Nobody else wants this. Like, go ahead, team. So he goes and does the game. NFL is like absolutely blown away with what he does. I mean, if you think of NFL films, it's the magical shot where the quarterback throws it, tight shot of the spiral in air, zooms out right as the guy is catching the pass. You think of NFL films, snow and rain. That was just snow and rain until he shot it. Now you think of the frozen tundra. You think of those Green Bay Packer games.
Right.
Like what makes football magical back in those days. So basically does all this. Fast forward, I mean, like you said, the steak kind of got taken away right off the rip when you gave away who he was. So I guess just to wrap that up now, I had the ending ready. It was a cliffhanger of what this company was going to be. So you think about NFL films, man, this is like people have excuses for why they can't do something like in their day-to-day life, whatever it is. I have them. We all have them. This guy took a wedding camera, turned it into basically like the number one sports film thing, still going very strong today. I mean, think about what it's turned into. Hard Knocks. It started with this guy with a wedding camera shooting his high school kids, high school highlights and showing them to the neighbor kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and fast forward 50 years later, it's almost $500 million industry. I don't know how much it is, man. It seems like it's big time. So
before you jump in, Matt, where is this? On Netflix, Max? Where'd you see it?
This is just my TED bit of the week.
I
was reading it and I saw like a little headline, I think a tweet, kind of like our Joe baseball guy, and I was like, man, I'm gonna look more into this story. And it's like, yeah, pretty amazing. I mean, one little quote to tie it together. The only other human endeavor more thoroughly captured on 16 millimeter film than the National Football League is World War II. Well, that is just a food for thought debate. Why does everything look so much better back in those days?
Yeah.
Like film, like I see trailers for Wicked. I'm like, what is this? Looks literally like I'm going to blow my brains out watching how this looks. And then you look at this 1960s camera that he got at a wedding reception, and it looks better than a $5,000 camera today. It's kind of sad, really.
It's like the old NBA photos that you see, and you see people talk about all the time, like the NBA photos from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, that the color is just amazing.
Vibrant.
And
the background.
It's the cameras that they were shooting on. I mean, they weren't necessarily better cameras, because you can argue, I mean, our iPhones have better cameras than, some of that. It's just, maybe the effort and the work put into taking those photos, maybe. But no, NFL films is the standard when it comes to shooting sports, that's for sure. I mean, I remember when I started shooting sports, they showed me examples of NFL films, and they were like, this is when you're shooting high school, this is how you follow the ball, and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I hear people say that, like, listen, somebody started NFL films or whatever from a wedding camera. It's a great story, and I'm not poo-pooing everything you said because it was interesting. It's harder now to find stuff like that, where like to find that thing where there's like there was no one shooting NFL, so now you go shoot NFL. Like you talked about the other day, or maybe it was last week, podcast. Everyone has a podcast now. We have a podcast, so like trying to find that thing, shooting NFL games with your wedding video camera. Maybe a little harder nowadays. Not saying it's impossible, but no, that's a wild story.
Yeah, it's who knows? I mean, those things are still out there. It's like that's what makes them magical. It's like I don't know. It's right under our nose right now. We don't even know it. So I don't know.
Probably something social media
it's not
related.
Flag football to you,
right?
Ted, I know flag football is the worst thing ever put on the face of the earth, but I don't know. Maybe it is flag football. Who knows?
I stand by it.
It's huge.
Who knows? Maybe it's the Savannah Bananas. We talked about it with Jim.
That's think about that's what it was. If you jumped in on the Savannah Bananas 2-3 years ago, man, you're looking pretty good right now. That's a good comparison.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. 10 years from now, if we revisit this, it'd be like, oh, see, there's that one thing. Somebody got rich off of that. Again, I know we're running long. Let me get 2 in on Tedertainment Tonight. I watched 2 series finales. So if you watch Handmaid's Tale, or the show You on Netflix, and you haven't finished them, spoiler alert's coming. So Jared, are you still watching You? Are you guys going to get through that?
At some point, it's on the list, but go ahead. You're good.
All right. Well, plug your ears if you don't want to hear the spoiler. So I'll start with that one. So
I'm actually curious how it wraps up. So
yeah, we finished that series. So honestly, the last season was actually really good, and a new character, like every season, a new character, a new love interest for Joe comes in, like every season, and she's actually from Handmaid's Tale. So it was kind of funny to see, a familiar actress on the final season of You. So it plays out like most seasons do. He has his wife, and then this new love interest comes in, and it starts spinning things. And because it's the final season, obviously it goes absolutely insane with all this killing and all that kind of stuff. So it's the show is just crazy. I really do not like how it ended, though, because it ends with him finally getting caught. He finally actually gets caught because this love interest was catfishing him the whole time because she got deep into with a couple of her friends trying to figure out, get Joe Goldberg, because she was friends with one of his original people that he killed. Right. So they knew that he killed this one woman from season 1. So they've been trying to find him this whole time. So she comes into this final season, catfishes him into falling in love with her, but then she actually does fall in love with him, and that's the whole spin. And then there's just craziness and stuff like that. And then at the end, she has a change of heart because he's actually the monster, that he is, and kind of sets him up and gets the cops and stuff like that. And he basically gets caught and goes to jail. And it's just one of those where it's yes, he's the monster. He's killed 50 people or whatever throughout this whole show. But the whole show is set up how smart he is. The whole show is set up that he gets away with this stuff every time. That's the whole show. How do you end it with him in jail? I was like, it should end with him somehow getting out of it. And what they were doing, they were trying to run away to Canada. He was trying to get fake passports to run away to Canada, start a new life up there. That's where it should have ended. Done. He's away. He actually killed her. The one goofy part, they were wrestling. He threw her in water, drowned her, and then he runs away, and she actually is alive and shoots him. And it was that was the one where it was
that sounds kind of idiotic. That singular scene.
Yes.
Yeah, you had me sold there a little bit when you started talking about catfishing, but now the ending, I don't know.
It's that one part that they literally show him drowning her. She floats away in the water, but then apparently she's just holding her breath or something.
That's the tough thing about those shows is every season you got to up the ante. Like we're thinking about season 1, it's hey, this is all pretty realistic. This could happen.
Right.
How he was so smart with how he pulled it off, and then next thing you know, 4 or 5 seasons later, a girl's drowned for 3 minutes, then awakens from the dead,
right,
and shoots him. I just the only thing I could think of when you're describing that is in The Dark Knight Rises, basically a similar thing happens where Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia al Ghul or whatever, basically has this whole thing with Bruce Wayne and Batman, sleeps with him and all these things, and then there's a parody of it where the guy Batman goes. She basically unfolds her whole plan, how she tricked him and all that, and how it was all a cruel ploy. And he goes, "Cruel ploy? Sign me up for another." Right. Basically because of what that entailed. But that was a stupid gag. But yeah, it's
similar.
It was a good show. How would you rate the final season? You didn't like the ending, but what was
the ending? The ending. I wish, and it's one of those he's obviously the monster, so he should be in jail. But you actually, you actually kind of want him to get away.
You root for him.
Yeah, you root for him. It was good. The final season actually, I think, redeemed the series, because a couple of seasons before were a little bit all right, let's wrap this thing up. Let's go. The final season was actually good, and that actress that came in, I don't know her name, but from Handmaid's Tale, she's a really good actress, so that helped. But him ending, the show ending with him in jail, getting love letters from his fans or whatever, was all right, this is a little ridiculous. So
that's kind of a funny touch. How people were obsessed with what was you guys know your murderers. Who is the
Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
Ted
they have Zac
Bundy.
Efron playing him.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's maybe he wasn't that good looking.
Right. So similar to that. So no, yeah, decent series. It's over. Handmaid's Tale real quick. So that's done. The final season of that was it really is a good show. I mean, if you can, the first couple seasons of that are pretty, like you said about the Brutalist, the first couple seasons of that show are pretty heavy and dark. And then it just turns into how June and the Handmaids are going to basically overthrow this new country, this new government of Gilead. And the final season is June, Elizabeth Moss, the main character. I mean, she's just a badass through it all. And she's galvanizing everyone and getting them to overthrow everything. How they do it is just cool. There's great music and the battle scenes and just everything. The final season is really good. But the one thing, again, that I kind of have issue with, the whole show is set up, her and her husband get split when she becomes a handmaid. You know, the women go do this. He gets basically sent off because he's a man and in this new government. If he's not a commander, like a high person, he's basically a no one. And the whole show, and they had a daughter that got taken from him too. The whole show is her and him trying to reunite, get back together, and then go get their daughter. That's the whole show. Yes, the government stuff and, you know, the society stuff and everything, but the whole show is about June and Luke getting back together so they can go get their daughter. And the show ends with he's now like obsessed with like being in like a rebel and trying to overthrow the government. And they're still married, but he's going to go do his thing and she's going to kind of do her thing. And they say that their daughter's in Colorado and they basically end up saying, I'll see you in Colorado. And it's just like, no, this show's supposed to end that like, you guys go get your daughter. Like the whole show was about this. And I guess it's one of those that it leaves open to your interpretation, but
right.
Is she a handmaid still or what's
no, because they've like overthrown it all. So they were successful in their overthrowing Gilead. There's still some work to do, but yeah.
Is that officially the ender of it, or is there a possibility they might say, "Hey, we'll reboot it and have them work their way back together"?
So Handmaid's Tale is done, but there is going to be another series. I forget what it's called off the top of my head, but it's like 15 years down the line. It's another. This is based off a novel. There's another novel 15 years after the Handmaids overthrow everything.
Well, wouldn't you say that show is at its best when they're actually in Gilead, like those first couple seasons, when they're in the heat of it, when it's this dystopian society? Like I don't care about it 15 years down the road. If I'm thinking of the spinoff, like, okay, give me just another side story in that universe at that time. To me,
it is because it's so dark, and it actually seems pretty possible that it could be realistic. So it is, if you can get past the stuff that's pretty heavy, it is like, wow, this is really interesting, actually.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
So
it's funny how these series do that stuff, you know. Like I look at it, we're rewatching Dexter. We just started season 7. I think we're 3 episodes in. You always can almost tell when these shows jump the shark. You know what I mean? Where they just keep going, and it's popular enough to where they can keep going. But you go, really? Is this is the writing they come up with? You know, the good stuff's already behind me. It's like, to me, Last of Us, throw out all the political stuff that went with it. Season 2 really was a little bit of disappointment now that I sit back and watch it. And do I really want to watch season 3 where they focus on whatever that girl's name is, you know, the backstory leading up to the finale there?
Right. To me, here's the thing with Last of Us, and like people just are trying to make everything goddamn political nowadays.
Right.
You think about the first season, like they're like 2 of the episodes are like the best episode is the Ron Swanson episode.
100%.
What killed that show was losing Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
I want to watch a show in post-apocalyptic world with zombies where he's this badass.
Yep.
Like to me, it's not that anymore.
Right. It'd be like if Handmaid's Tale lost Elizabeth Moss.
Right.
It'd be like, all right, this isn't even the same show. This makes
now you're watching the guy from The Internship in that show. I don't even know what that guy's name is.
Yeah.
Or we'll see what Yellowstone's like without Costner. Maybe it'll be all right, but I don't know.
I don't think they've like. I think she's a great actress, Bella Ramsey. I think it's more so like how they've written her character. It's like they made her not very likable. It's like, was it pretty much a jerk to Joel? Then Joel obviously dies. They kind of tried to patch that back together with a flashback, like later on in the season. It's still weird. hell bent on revenge. And the big thing was like how she wanted them all to go track down Joel's killer right after their entire town just got ravaged by literally a zillion zombies, like just to go get revenge. Like it really didn't. They let her go. Like Abby settled the score. Who's the villain now? Like Joel killed all of us. We came back. We killed Joel. We let you go. Like basically, we'll wipe your hands of you. Like no hard feelings. And now I'm like supposed to root for this person to go murder this. Like I don't know. To me, they didn't nail that part.
No, they didn't.